Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the APC toy 001 Attack Prime, also known as a KO Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus Prime, this time inspired by the original exclusive Takara Tomy color deco. Now for those of you looking to add him to the collection, he is surprisingly still currently in stock over at Shozi Store, so for that of course I'll be sure to pack a link down in the description box below. And I was actually really excited that APC Toys would once again be re-releasing this version of Optimus in the collection, mainly for two reasons. Reason one would be that first time round officially by Hasbro, it was an incredibly elusive figure to obtain, and then pretty much all of the APC toy releases would go out of stock pretty quickly. And I know, judging by the comment section of the Chrome version that I reviewed way back in 2020, that sadly not many of you guys actually were able to pick this up. So it is awesome to get it re-released this time in what is, in my opinion, the superior color deco. And second of all, I always loved this Takara Tomy exclusive look. I really thought that the gunmetal plastic, as well as just kind of the darker red, really did suit this version of Optimus Prime perfectly. And in all, it's just a fantastic representation of one of my all-time favorite incarnations of Prime, of course inspired by the Transformers Prime TV show. Now before we delve in and take a look at this amazing figure, we'll very quickly go through the accessories. So first of all, we do get included the Star Saber, an accessory which I don't believe we ever saw officially by Hasbro and Takara, and you can see the paint and skull work on this is just immaculate. This looks exactly how it appeared in the show, and I am so glad they included it here with this Attack Prime. You can see some really awesome copper, metallic gold, we've got this really nice silver metallic blade, and even the handle section too looks super faithful to how it appeared in the show. Now as far as integration is concerned, to store it in the hand you simply have to pop off this end cap, and that will allow it to slide freely through Prime's hand just like so. And as you guys can see, he just looks so awesome whilst wielding it. You can kind of have him looking as if though he's coming through the space bridge, just about to engage in battle with Megatron and maybe even the Darksaber. And you can actually pop the cap back on the end just to complete its look. Alternatively, we can take this section, which is also additional and exclusive to this release, peg it into the back, and you can kind of sheath the sword here in the backpack of the Prime, much like we see throughout the show. Now also included are two Energon Blades. If I were to be honest, I think these are kind of the weakest part of this release. They've just been cast out of a transparent blue plastic and have no paint. It would have been awesome had this section been picked out in a nice silver, and then the actual blade itself been coloured in orange, just to give you that show accurate look. But one thing which is good is that unlike the official version, these have been completely cast out of solid plastic, so will not have a tendency to bend or kind of go flimsy over time, which I guess in a sense is still pretty decent. We do get included what is personally my favourite accessory, that being Prime's iconic ion blasters, and you can just see here the attention to detail as well as the paintwork is just immaculate. That kind of silver specular effect that we've got going throughout this really does help to make this look authentic to the show and just to showcase its integration. Personally, I've always liked to take the hand and rotate it so that the back is facing upwards, so that you can kind of recreate the look as if though it's actually transformed out of the forearm, much like we saw in the show, which to me is just so awesome. And then another additional accessory is, I believe, a carryover from one of the Doctor Who upgrade kits, that being an unmasked Optimus Prime head sculpt. Now to actually install it in the figure, you do have to unscrew the back of the current head sculpt, pull that off, and then pop this on the ball joint and then tighten it up. It's quite straightforward to do, but you can see here the sculpt and paintwork for that also is really nicely done. So accessory wise, he definitely comes with pretty much everything and more where that Star Saber is concerned, from what I personally would want from a Transformers Prime Optimus. But as we just set some of the larger ones here off to the side and take a closer look here at the details, this is fantastic, and at least in my opinion is the best version that APC Toys have currently come out with. I thought the Chrome release was awesome, but in the show Prime did have a much more muted colour palette, and I really do think this almost Takara exclusive deco was along the lines of what we originally saw. Now as we bring him in here for a closer look, you can see that masked head sculpt looks fantastic. We've got some amazing metallic silver there for the crest, as well as for kind of these side vent pieces. Just the sculpt work in general looks so impressive, and we actually do get some pretty decent light piping here at the back. You can see from the collarbones, amazing mechanical detail. The attention to detail on this release in itself was just amazing. I really do think this is probably one of my all-time favourite Optimus Prime designs and figures. You can see here for the chest, I think this looks wicked with some of that cybernetic detailing being housed underneath the metallic blue windscreen. You can see some awesome details here for what I presume are supposed to be the headlights of the vehicle mode. and even the torso has turned out so nicely, and just overall incredibly animation accurate. There is in fact actually quite a lot that is packed into the forearms, but check out how sleek and slender they are. They really do look as if though they've literally been ripped straight from the screen, and I think the sculpt work here to the hands also look great despite them housing a 5mm port. It looks super natural, really doesn't look ugly, and you can even see here for the legs, so streamlined and animation accurate. And the same can also be said here for the backpack with the stacks which fold up very, very well. Just overall, it's an impeccable release. Now, articulation wise, the head does look up to a pretty decent range, so about to that far. It can look down, rotate left to right, a full rotation here at the shoulders, as well as a hinge joint here at this armor pad, which allows this to go out to the sides. We do get a full rotation here at the bicep, 90-degree bend there at the elbow, as well as a full wrist rotation. Due to transformation, we in a sense do get a waist rotation, but due to the way it's kind of been cut from certain angles, it can look slightly unnatural, so definitely just be wary of that when displaying him upon the shelf. But the hips can kick forwards that far, back to that far, out to the sides, rotation here just above the knee, 90 there at the knee, and then finally here for the foot, it can pivot forwards and backwards, as well as rock side to side. And I thought the attention to detail of including a faux trailer hitch, just for the sake of symmetry, was so nicely done. They could have in theory completely left this hollow, which would have created for an ugly design, but the fact that they went ahead and fully sculpted that, I really think just shows that back in the day, Hasbro really cared about what they were putting out. And in a way, I kind of think that is why we haven't seen a redo of this particular version of Optimus, just as they've already given us a perfect figure here in this first edition release. Now, turning to some size comparisons, for those of you collecting some of the Prime Universe Legacy figures, here we have the Voyager Bulkhead, and I actually don't think the scale is too bad. I believe in the show, Bulkhead was ever so slightly smaller than what we're seeing here, but if you own a Bulkhead and an RC from this line, and even eventually a Knockout, I don't think this version of Optimus is going to look too out of place, and if anything, will kind of outshine these guys, as I really do think it was a prime example of how the character appeared in the show. Here is that Legacy Prime Universe inspired RC, and here bringing out yet again another amazing figure by APC Toys. Here we have their version of Transformers Prime Megatron, which I believe originally was the first edition deluxe, which has been upscaled to roughly a large Voyager, and you can see as far as the scale between these two guys are concerned, I think it's almost dead on to the show. Megatron from Prime was quite a bit bigger than Optimus Prime, and I really do think that if you're looking for a definitive representation of both of these characters, how they appeared in the show, APC Toys is definitely the company to watch out for. Now, turning to transformation for a Voyager class release, it's actually pretty involved. So to begin with, I would just ensure that the head is straightened out. We can then come here to the hands, disengage this section, and just extend it all the way out, which will then allow us to take the wrist, dip this in, and you'll notice how we've got a circular peg that will peg here into what is essentially the screw hole. So just bring these sections down, snap that there into place really securely. Of course, rinse and repeat here for this side. So just fold that section down, snap that there into place. We can then take the shoulders, disengage these here, and just bring these sections forwards for now. You'll then want to spin your attention here to the back, just kind of loosen up all of these components, pull out the front section of the truck, fold these sections out, and then you can now take the head and dip this in. But something which I thought was a really nice touch is, despite you not being able to see this in truck or bot mode, they did actually fully sculpt some internal detailing here for the dashboard, as well as there for the steering wheel. So that once again does just go to show how much detail and care Hasbro originally put into this mold. And I'm quite surprised that in themselves they haven't gone ahead and re-released this for the 10th anniversary. But nevertheless, you are going to want to dip the head in. That will then allow us to rotate here at the waist, so that the front is now facing the back. We can then take these here, bring this section down, rotate at the shoulders, and then snap these sections into place. You'll then want to rotate here at the bicep, and we can then combine the two halves. So just snap them in there. Take this here and ensure that it is hinged all the way down, and you'll notice how we've got two tabs here and here that will slide into some slots. So just shoot those in there, snap them very securely into place, and then you'll want to take these sections, flip them all the way around, and here on the underside you'll notice how we've got some cutouts that these hinge joints will actually snap into. So in a sense, you are going to want to make sure that does snap in there, and of course rinse and repeat here for this side. Combine the front two grill pieces, and then just fold this here out to the sides. We can then compress what are the heel spurs into the front section of the feet, and do the same for this side. Hinge these sections up, flip out the proper trailer hitch, combine these two halves, and then lock this here into place. Take these sections, snap them there into place, hinge this up, and then these pieces will dip down, and then the feet will come all the way over the top just to kind of fill out the roof section of the truck. And then for some finishing touches, just collapse the smokestacks in upon themselves just like this. And there we have the APC Toys Attack Transformers Prime Optimus Prime fully transformed up into his equally as awesome looking truck mode. And I think even this mode here just looks terrific. I'm actually quite surprised that a third party company hasn't taken advantage of the engineering, upscaled it, added a few tweaks in order to essentially create a masterpiece, as for the most part this Voyager figure is essentially just that, a masterpiece representation of how Optimus appeared in that amazing Transformers Prime show. But you can see, as far as the truck is concerned, it looks incredible. I really cannot fault this at all. Even the back doesn't look too bad considering it's comprised out of kind of the front shins. Just check out how clean this cut is. It just looks so nicely done. A really well engineered figure. You can see the attention to detail where that grill is concerned looks awesome. We've got some nice transparent blue there for the windscreen, as well as some of these lights which have been picked out in a nice yellow. The same can also be said here for some of these transparent parts. And just overall, it's just such a wicked looking truck. And not to mention that all of the wheels are pinned on, meaning that Prime does roll incredibly freely across the ground. Now, something which I actually couldn't showcase in my original review due to me, I believe, not owning the Earthrise Optimus at that point, was that the trailer from Earthrise Prime is actually compatible here with this first edition Optimus. I do believe in the show, Optimus does have a trailer which kind of looks something along the lines of this. So if this is the display that you wish to go within the collection, I really don't think it's going to look too bad at all. And surprisingly, the wheels, for the most part, actually do touch the ground. I believe these ones are ever so slightly elevated, but as you can see, they are definitely rolling. So really and truly just such a fantastic figure, and it's great to see that the Earthrise Prime's trailer is compatible with this masterpiece of a mold. And so, some final thoughts for this APC Toys Attack Prime. Overall, I think it's a fantastic figure. Of course, it is essentially just a straight up knockoff of the original Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus, but considering that that original mold has always been incredibly elusive, even when it was originally released, it was super hard to track down. I think APC Toys really are doing the work of the gods here. They're giving collectors a great opportunity to pick up a mold which is incredibly elusive at a much cheaper price point. This guy retails for roughly $40, which, when in comparison to some of our mainline Voyagers that we're seeing now, I really do think is a steal. The engineering that has gone into this would no doubt classify as a masterpiece, or maybe even a super advanced commander class. So I definitely think it's a fantastic figure. Robot and truck mode are undeniably the best representation of this version of Optimus that we've ever seen. It comes with a great array of accessories. The joints all feel great. I think the plastic quality is top notch. Just in all, it's an amazing release, and I just cannot wait to see what APC Toys have up their sleeves in regards to their upcoming Arachnid. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below on this Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus Prime. Is it a figure that you guys planning on adding to the collection? And as mentioned previously, the older releases by APC Toys have sold out almost instantly, so for those of you who are on the fence, I would definitely recommend to make your decision fast, as I don't believe that APC Toys have any plans on releasing yet another incarnation of this version of Optimus. I'll be sure to pack a link down in the description box below directly to show Z, so if you are looking to pick this up, you can find it there. And as always, I thank you all so much for watching. Until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.